was it 1 out, guy on first,
Mm-hmm.
and Corey Seager comes up to bat. What are you thinking?
The easiest answer would be baseball's hard. You know what I mean?
Baseball is real.
It's not like, it's not like you can just pull up to the field and the other team's going to just let you win. I do think it made it cooler winning a World Series being from the state.
Now, and everyone tells us, oh, you got to think about your future, retirement, and all this other stuff. I mean, do you plan to play the game as long as you can?
I don't know, man. I think that's just...
Nobody ever asked me that question before.
What the hell? Stop.
Nigga, I ain't coming on the show again.
I come in here, it looks professional. Tune into the content.
Like you were telling you guys, I'm like,
I like when people have good questions.
What's going on, everybody? Another episode of Direct Discussions Podcast today. You guys won't believe who we have. But before we do, I'm going to let David let y'all know.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Direct Discussions. I forget your intro, but welcome, everybody. Our special guest today, Grant Anderson of the Texas Rangers. Let's go. A little round of applause. Appreciate you for coming on,
Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate it. And this kind of all was like a spur of the moment, guys. I had to hit Grant up on Instagram. He luckily replied, and now we're here today. So I'm actually so grateful that you did, man, because this is part of our whole journey of just trying to continuously grow and get better. So for people that don't know who you are, can you just give them a little intro of who Grant is?
Born and raised Southeast Texas. When Beaumont, I was born in Port Arthur, raised in Beaumont. Graduated from West Orange Stark High School. Went to McNeese State University, drafted 21st round by Seattle Mariners, and traded in 2019 to the Texas Rangers. And then I made my debut last year. And then
What a heck of a debut you
that's
made
kind of
last
history.
year.
Yeah, that was a good
debut,
one.
I think he struck out, what was it, 7 guys?
7 out of 8, yeah.
7 in 2.5 innings, 2 and 2/3 innings, which is crazy for a debut. I think they said you needed one more strikeout or one more whiff to have the record for the most in a debut. In a debut, which is crazy. So whenever you got drafted in 2018, what was that emotions like? The roller coasters of you don't know where you're gonna go. It was already getting later in the rounds.
I mean, I was just like, I'm obviously I went to like a small mid-major university, so I wasn't like, I was not expecting like first day, second round and like that. So I was really just happy to be drafted, man. You know what I mean? That was always my goal was just to get drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I always thought if I could just get my foot in the door, you know what I mean, I can make something happen. Yeah. So I was just happy to be drafted, man.
That's how I feel when I got drafted. No, just play. Yeah, I used to play baseball growing up, and I was pretty decent, man. They used to call me Slow Rocket. It's Slow Rocket. So they only called me that too because I didn't throw fast, but the pitches were effective. And everybody knows as a pitcher, if you can place your pitches where they need to be placed, you can strike anybody out. You don't have to have the speed behind it. Yeah. So that's why they called me Slow Rocket. I was pretty decent at navigating where I needed the ball. But I did not throw fast at all. Not throw fast at all.
So real quick, when they called you Slow Rocket, did they like name it something smaller like Slow Row?
No. They always be like Slow Rocket. That's what I always use. Everybody used to call me that, bro. It's funny. Back in high school. All right, so I wanted to touch a little bit on back home for you because I know where you live is at the bottom of Texas, near Houston, kind of a little bit on the outskirts. And Hurricane Harvey hit not too long ago. So was your family affected by that?
Luckily, when my parents they just moved out of that house. It was the house I grew up in, but it's in an area where like down the street it floods, but then like 4 houses, their little pocket of 4 houses where they're at doesn't flood, or like I guess like 10 houses really. It won't flood, so it got like to the doorstep, you know what I mean, but like didn't get in the house. So
it wasn't that bad.
No, but I mean, obviously I know a ton of people who were
affected by
that. I mean, I was nervous this year when the hurricane came because the house I live in now is in Beaumont, in the city. Because I grew up outside the city of Beaumont, like in like the country, you know what I mean?
Outskirts, yeah.
And if you're in the city though, it's like almost guaranteed you're gonna flood during a hurricane. Something to flood. So I mean, like obviously I know a ton of people who did have a lot of problems with that. You know what I mean? Like house flooding and having to tear down, rebuild it, and all that. So thank the Lord, nobody in my family was affected.
So whenever you were going through that whole process of like drafting or whatnot, or even just in high school, when did you feel like personally you said, okay, I think I can make it to the next level?
I always knew I could get to college. You know what I mean? But to them, I mean, obviously, if you love the game of baseball growing up, your goal is to get to the major leagues.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think I always had a kind of a different, look at it. Or some guys are like, oh, they would just say, like, oh, I want to play in the major leagues one day. Well, like me, that's my plan A. You know what I mean?
Plan A, yeah.
So I don't got no plan B till plan A don't work. You know what I mean? So and for me, it was always like, I know I'm going to go to college. Mm-hmm. And then from college, I got to figure out how I got to get on the field to get to being drafted. And then from drafted, I got to find out how I got to get from being drafted to get to the major league. So plan A, I mean, it worked. So
it did work. It worked out. You're here right now.
Yeah.
That kind of leads into the next question. I know Roger had one of them about being in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
About that moment when it's bottom of the ninth. Was it 1 out, guy on first, and Corey Seager comes up to bat? What are you thinking?
I knew he was gonna kill him. I mean, it's Corey. He's a machine, man. You know what I mean? So like, I call him the cyborg because he's literally like, whenever the game starts, he's just like focused. Like, any pitch, he don't even move out of the batter's box. He's always right here and then swing. But that's why he's one of the best players in the world. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate enough to have been called up on a team where we have, a lot of, future legendary guys. I mean, like Simeon, who's my favorite player. Yeah. Since Jeter retired when I was in high school and stuff, Simeon was my favorite player.
Hey, shout out to Derek Jeter, man. That was my favorite player growing up. Derek Jeter and Albert Pujols, my two guys.
I tried to name my son Jeter. My wife.
She said no.
With the second one, if we have a boy, his middle name will be Jeter. But
yeah, that's fire. Yeah, you gotta keep.
But that I had to try to sneak it in there. You know.
You're like, yeah, okay. So if the second one's the girl, then the third one's definitely gonna be first name Jeter.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeter wouldn't be bad for a middle name for.
No, I think it'd fit.
Go both ways for a girl, Jeter.
But yeah, I mean, I just got, like I said, we had, Simeon, Seager, Josh Young is a great talent as well.
Coming right now.
And then Evan Carter last year, what he did was crazy. You know what I mean? To be that young and then to come on and have the impact he did was great. And then you got like obviously Scherzer, Chapman was in the pen last year for us. I mean, Chapman's my boy, man. I love him. Even like Will Smith, who's been doing it for 10 to 11 years. You know what I mean?
3 rings in a row.
Yeah.
3 rings in a row. Like that's crazy to even think that you can go from team to team to team. Atlanta, Houston, Texas, and you win a ring every single year. That is hard to do. Just even, I feel like for you can tell me your opinion, but you coming in as a rookie last year, and then you being able to be on a really good squad, and then y'all go all the way and win the World Series. It's like your dream just came true. It's like this is everything you dreamt of.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like might have came out of the gate too hot. You know what I mean?
Expectations real high.
Yeah, and then after that you're like, damn. But no, I mean, and then like I can't fail to mention what Nate Eovaldi did in the postseason last year was absolutely dumb, bro. Both of them
killing it.
But yeah, I mean you're right because like I mean obviously this year's been a struggle for myself included, and I mean the team in general. But it's just one of those things where like you just gotta look at how blessed you are. You know what I mean? It's very fortunate to have the opportunity, the experience, and play any. I mean, here's the thing though: to win a championship at any level, from high school on up is like, especially in like Texas. Like I won the state championship in Texas in baseball and lost, and that was like, I mean, took forever to get to the state championship. You know what I mean? So, it's just one of those things where you just gotta tell you how it was blessed and maybe a once in a lifetime thing. You know what I mean? It could not be like Will obviously has 3 in a row, but there's guys that go play 20-year careers and never win a championship. So I mean they're just blessed, and I was fortunate to be on a great team and have some great teammates.
Yeah, I guess Marcus Simeon would be one of those guys, right? He played. I think he's in 10+ years.
Yeah, he just got his 10-year early
and
year.
Just got his first World Series ring, first real good taste of the playoffs and everything. Yeah. So for you to come in, like you said, coming out the gate hot is like, all right, these are some high expectations. I got to live up to these a little bit.
So what do you think? What do you think happened in comparison from last year to this year? Where you guys are on fire in the postseason, and then now it's kind of like 50-50, and everyone's kind of like, oh man, I really thought they were gonna go for 2 this year.
That's a tough question, but like the easiest answer would be that baseball's hard. You know what I mean?
Baseball is
It's not like it's not like you can just pull up to the field and the other team's gonna just let you win. You know what I mean? No, I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sound like a smart ass. Like,
no.
But that's just this is reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like anything. You might have it one day, and then the next day you come out and it look like you never played the game in your life. You know what I mean? But and then another thing too, I think people underestimate how much it takes on your body playing into November.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like by this time, guys already have worked on their second month of being off, and you're still playing, and then you're done. Then you have the parade. By the time you get done with that, it's already almost December.
And then you have to restart.
And then you start over. You start playing catch. Typically, you would have already started playing catch in December to get ready for the next season. But we're trying to take off, and then you come back in January. Now you're trying to throw again, and then February comes, you're back in Arizona. You're like, damn, we just left here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it just takes a toll on you, man. That's why I think baseball. A lot of people that don't play the sport or just fans of the sport underestimate how much the everyday aspect actually takes it out of you. Even as a pitcher, and I'm not playing the field every day. I might play once, twice a week, but I'll still go to the field every day. We work out, you run, you throw. And like by the time the game's over, you're like, "Dang, I'm exhausted." You know what I mean?
Training, everything.
I mean, it's a from February to if you win the World Series in November. So I mean, that's like almost a whole year. 2 months, January, December, the only 2 months you're not playing. You know what I'm saying? So it just takes a toll on you. And I think and then also like I said, the guys you're playing against are not like
some scrubs.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're going to like the beer league down the street. You know what I'm saying? You're playing against guys that do this for a living also. So it's just a tough sport.
That's actually the best part about it, I think, is because a lot of people look at baseball and say, oh, baseball's boring. They're not doing nothing. They just stand there. But they're not understanding all the other things that go into being and playing baseball. Like so many things. So now with that being said, I know a lot of people take a little bit back on the physical side, but they don't talk about the mental side. How is the mental side about preparing for a game or right before you go into the game when your name's called?
Man, I would say the mental side of baseball may be the toughest part of the sport. All you can really do as your individual self is just try to be as focused as you can. And everybody has different things that they have to tell themselves in order to get, you know what I'm saying, like get ready. For me, it's just more so I'm just trying to focus on basically what I do well. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm facing, let's say I'm facing Judge or somebody, and some superstar. Well, even if he hits, sinkers well, that's my best pitch. So I'm gonna focus on like where can I throw this pitch, where can I put my slider, and that's the kind of stuff that just helps me kind of stay lined out. Not too focused, not too worried about like all the other stuff going around because there's a lot of stuff going on. Like you got tons of people hollering and screaming, and you try to get, double play in this situation or whatever it may be, and then, you just gotta stay focused on what you can do, and whatever mentally gets you right up here. That's all. That's all that really matters.
So, in addition to having to prepare mentally on the field, is there anything that you do to prepare mentally outside of the field, or do you just kind of separate both?
When I go home, I'm trying to enjoy my wife, my kids, and I guess most guys when they go home, they're trying to relax. Yeah. They're not trying to really think about the game too much. And it's tough. Like if you have a bad game that day, it's gonna be tough not to think about it. But when you go home, you're kind of just trying to unwind, like relax. You know what I mean? Like, which I guess that can be part of the mental process. Is just maybe not thinking about the game helps you get better at the game, so you're not sitting there focused on it all the time, and then going down a rabbit hole or whatever,
or what could have been, or what could I have done better.
Yeah. Right.
It is. Yeah, switch.
And plus, when I go home, my son keeps me and my wife busy enough to where I don't really got time to think about it anyway. So, but no, more so, it's like when I leave the house to go to the field, okay, now baseball mode is on. But the second I leave the field, go back to the house, all right, dad mode and husband mode is back. You know what I'm saying? So
that's cool.
So and I think that's generally how most guys probably are.
Yeah.
So did that flipping the switch in a sense start when you made it into professional baseball? Because I know like if you're in high school or maybe even college, and maybe not you, but in general, they're like, oh man, baseball this, baseball that. Did you catch my game? Did you catch this? And all they do is talk about baseball. And so, do you think because it became a profession instead of something you did in college as a sport, do you think that's where you needed to make that decision to activate that mental switch to separate both lives?
That's probably. I mean, because like I said earlier, like my only goal from high school and college was to get to professional baseball. So there, I probably did think about it a lot more. Especially like I said, if a bad game happened in college, and then you get in the hotel or on the road or at your apartment, probably sitting there thinking about it a little bit. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that as I've gotten older. I think if anything, more so it'd be with age opposed to college, amateur, professional. But as I've gotten older, I've got a little better at separating. Like, all right, man, at the end of the day, it's a game. Blessed enough to be paid for it. But when I go home, it's time to stop thinking about baseball. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of a like I said, more of like a maturity thing opposed to I think more so of a amateur to professional, because you still I still take it just as serious when I'm at the field when I was in college to professional. It's just getting older, getting married, having kids, kind of makes you like view it a little better aspect in life in general.
Totally understand.
Yeah, I think that's good. With our guy Smooth Vega, he mentioned that the other day that your kid, the baseball would get the most of you and your kids would get the rest of you. So I think really, like you said, differentiating the two things is like, all right, when I'm done with baseball, and I get in the car to go back home, it's like, okay, I'm all dad, all husband, everything like that. So they can actually get to see you there, feel you there, and everything like that. And instead of like he said, just your family getting the rest of you, because now they're not getting the full experience of who you are as a human besides from baseball, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a good life work balance a little bit. Do you think there's a little bit of added pressure to you being from Texas, and either you could have played for Texas or Houston as one of the Texas teams? Do you think there's a little bit of added pressure to you because you're from Texas playing for a Texas team?
No.
I
mean, if it's pressure, it would be from myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, I'm just happy to be in my home state. You know what I mean? Obviously, I grew up closer to Houston, so everybody's in that area is an Astros fan. But
yeah, we're not.
Not up here.
But that never really crossed my mind, honestly. To be honest with you, about like, do I feel more pressure playing for this team because I'm from the state? No. Yeah. I do think it made it cooler winning a World Series being from the state, though. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think that was, and I thought because it was the first one for the Rangers too, I thought it was pretty sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
amazing.
And it's just, the two areas of the state are so, not so different, but, like, different as far as, like, we're on the coast down there, like, you know what I'm saying? Up here, you're north, it gets colder in the winter here than it does, stuff like that. But the people, in reality, are, like, all Texans kind of seem to be generally the same, you know what I mean? Like, most people are friendly, the communities are usually very well, like, family-oriented and stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of, like, the same, but it just was like it was way cooler winning it for the first time with a team from the same state. Like if I'd have been in like Chicago or Seattle, I probably wouldn't have felt as important to me, which is crazy because it's a World Series. But like when you see like your fellow native Texans, like how happy these people were, you know what I'm saying? Like it was that was pretty cool.
Same thing for Evaldi too, because Evaldi
he's from Alvin, so. He's actually from way closer to Houston than I am. I'm like an hour from Houston. Oh, okay. He's like a little suburb right outside of Houston. Like, kind of like not suburb, it's country town also. Like ranchers and stuff. But like right outside of Houston, you know what I mean? So yeah. He's like 20 minutes from Houston, where I'm like an hour from Houston. Yeah, he would have probably really enjoyed it more if he had played if on Houston and won it. But I'm glad he did it. It's funny we said that too, because I remember back in 2018 watching him pitch for Boston. I told my dad, I was like, man, if we could get a pitcher like this, that's all we need. And then fast forward 3 years later, and it's like, that's the guy. I remember when we signed him, I was telling my dad, I was like, this is what I was telling you years ago. I was like, this is one of the guys. He's great, man. He really is. He's one of those guys that like seems like he gets better with age. Like as he gets older, he gets even better. So, but he loves talking the game of baseball. He's a very big student of pitching. You know what I mean? Like he's not just the game of baseball, but like the art of pitching. He's like very big. You know, he studies it. He watches every other guy. He studies how they move, how he moves, what he can do to get better. He's great. He really is.
So do you feel like you ever get to that point in your career where you're studying the game as closely as he is?
For sure. I mean, he's kind of on a different level. But like most guys, I feel like, and especially younger guys now, because the way we've kind of came up with the added technology and stuff like that, I think it gets to the point where like you can either go in a good direction with it or a bad direction with it. So most guys are like already they've studied themselves more obviously than other people, but like they study their pitching shapes and movements, how their body's moving and stuff. So of course, like all I watch is baseball. Even like in the off season when the playoffs are on, if I'm not in, I'm still watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like on the road, when we go on the road here, most hotels have like MLB Network, so I just put on MLB Network. If I'm not playing the game, then I'm watching MLB Network. So, you know, and I might see like I was watching Chris Sale pitch the other day. So then I went on the database or whatever and looked at his stuff, like watch how he moves and stuff, like just see how he pitches to these guys. I like to watch a lot of other side armor guys, especially ones that have been doing it for a long time, to see how they pitch to the same hitters that I'm going to be facing. Like if I'm facing the Yankees right now, I might go find you know, a team with like the Rays usually have a bunch of side armor guys, or like the Red Sox, or even the Yankees have a couple. But I would go look at their guys and watch how they pitch these guys, see if they have a similar plan of attack, or like, you know, because some hitters, like let's say they hit like sinkers from overhand guys well, but then I see like, okay, how's he hit against sidearm sinkers, and this like might be terrible. You know what I mean? So
the angle of the ball is completely
so it might say like, don't throw him your sinker, but then like if you look at him face other sidearm guys and he is, you know, has no plan, no chance of hitting their sinker, then it's like, okay, well then I can throw mine. So it's just like, it's kind of, you know, studying multiple different things. But yeah, I don't know if I ever get to the level that Evo's at. Yeah. Because he's like on it, like he can see stuff like instantly, to where I might have to like watch a few times and be like, okay, I think I can see what he's doing here, but Evo's got it like for one throw. He's like, okay, I see what he's got. I see what he's doing.
So are there any guys that I know you said sidearm, but are there any guys that are not sidearm that you just like particularly like to watch, that are like you grew up watching, that like you kind of idolize a little bit?
Believe it or not, I told Max, this is my first time I met him. He was like my favorite pitcher growing up.
Max Scherzer, yeah.
Him and CC Sabathia, but I haven't got to meet CC yet.
Yeah, I love CC Sabathia, another lefty.
I love CC, man. Before them, like when I was really young and the Astros were decent, I liked Roger Clemens and Andy Pettit, and I met Andy Pettit. He was a really nice guy. I met Roger a couple times.
You met me today too.
That's funny. Those guys are legends, though.
They are. Yeah.
Roger Clemens, and legends.
But yeah, for the most part, like when I was growing up, and I was actually like playing into the travel ball and stuff, it was probably Max Scherzer and CC Sabathia, and then of course like I liked Kershaw also.
Yeah, Clayton Kershaw for sure, from Dallas, Texas.
Texas guy.
You know, Highland Park. All right, so real quick before I let you go, is there, if you weren't playing baseball, because I know you said you went to college, where were you studying in college? If you didn't play baseball, what do you think you'd be doing?
So originally studying in college was health and human performance.
So kind of like a therapist?
No, it's like a
physical therapy.
It's like a strength and conditioning type of degree. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, they have at my university they have like a few different things. Like you could be like a coach. You could be like a strength, like a PE, like a high school, you know, coach. Oh, okay, yeah, you could be like a strength and conditioning major, kind of, or like any type of like anything that has to do with like moving the body, basically, like kinesiology, whatever. And then it switched to general studies, and then it switched to general business, which is where I'm at now. I still haven't finished, but if I wasn't playing, man, I'd probably be coaching at some level. I don't know if I'd want to do
Little League.
No, I can't. I don't know if I would go as far down as like the high school. Maybe college. I could probably do college, and I could do college for sure. But I wouldn't want to do the recruiting. Yeah. I would just want to do the coach. Bro, the recruiting, they travel so much, man. Yeah. And then like minor league, I don't know if I want to coach minor league, unless I was like maybe if I was like at the spring training where they had like the rookie ball complex at, I could do that because I can stay there.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't really travel in rookie ball. Maybe they travel like 30 minutes at the most.
So would you say traveling is like a hard thing to do? Because I mean, you're thinking you're traveling maybe on a plane every 3-4 days to the next city to the next.
It's tough, yeah. I think that's another aspect that's kind of underestimated by people. Dude, traveling every couple of days. I mean, people love to travel.
Yeah.
Like I love travel myself. Like in the off season, me and my wife have some stuff planned. But like when you're doing it 3 or 4 times, it's like within 2 weeks, and you're like, travel this time zone. I gotta wake up a little earlier. I gotta go play. Then I gotta go to sleep. And now I can't sleep because I just came from a 3-hour time difference. You know what I mean? So it's like it can be very tough. It's like another aspect. Just kind of like you gotta really take care of your body. Mm-hmm. Take care of your sleep, obviously, and what you eat. Mm-hmm. And it's just like it's a lot harder than people think it. Like we travel, but it's not like for example, so. We played 56 games in college if you don't make the playoffs. And, in my conference, the Southland Conference, you had, basically half the schools were in Louisiana, half of them were in Texas, basically. And then you had, one in Arkansas, and I think that was it. At the time. That they changed now, teams added and left, but whatever. But, so, we would have, the farthest drive I think we had was an 8-hour drive. That was to Central Arkansas. And then after that, I lied, Abilene Christian was the farthest. I'm tripping. Abilene Christian was 13, 14 hours from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
And you were taking buses?
Buses, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
But that's once. You know what I'm saying? I'm only making that trip once this year.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
Other than that, even the Arkansas one, we didn't, if you play them your freshman year, your sophomore year, they come to you.
Okay, that's a lot easier.
You know what I'm saying? So other than those 2 schools, everybody, Lamar University is in Beaumont, where I'm from, and I went to school in Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's a 50-minute drive.
Yeah, that's not too
across the border. You know what I'm saying? So it's or the other way, you got Thibodeau, the Nicholls State is in Thibodeau. That's 2 hours. Houma, Louisiana is where Southeastern is at. That's 3 hours. So I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, those aren't bad.
Then I get drafted, right? And so I'm with Seattle, and I go rookie ball, short season, low A. I was only in low A for maybe 2 weeks. Well, the next year I get traded here to the Rangers, and we're in North Carolina. And this time, this is before they changed to 6-day series or whatever. Because now in the minor leagues, they play Tuesday to Sunday. Yeah. Monday off, Tuesday to Sunday, Monday off. Well, when I first got in, it was the traditional, 3 games here, 4 games here, 3 games here.
Yeah.
Bro, and we were traveling we would, I remember we would go Hickory, North Carolina to Lakewood, New Jersey, which is 12, 13, 14 hours, something like that. Then you have from Lakewood to Rome, Georgia, which is 15 hours. And this is busing back then. Yeah. So it was it was even worse because it was the 3-game Major League is, but it ain't on a private jet. It's on a charter bus with not enough seats for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You got bags and people sleep on the floor and stuff. So you would wake up sometimes at 1 a.m. You'd be like, "Dang, where we at, bro?" And we had some Love's gas station in Maryland. You still got 5 hours left. You know what I mean? You're golly, man. And then you got to wake up. You get to the hotel let's say you get to the hotel at 3 a.m. Then the bus to the field at 11 a.m. So you you got 6 hours of sleep. Then you got to wake up, go to the field, and play,
and then lock in.
And then, and you're you rubbing your eyes the whole time. You're dang man, I hope I don't pitch today because I. You know what I'm saying? So it travel, sure. Bro. The travel was a big a big wake up call. Trying to figure out how I get myself ready, body ready. How to sleep right, and because it's way different, man.
Oh yeah. I'm over here trying to okay, so you're talking about the traveling, and all I can imagine is a map, and you see it on TV where it's a little car just driving up.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Just
that's how it was, man. That's literally how it was.
No, but okay, so a little bit about baseball. So, is there any piece of advice or wisdom that stuck with you from a coach, teammate, family member that has stuck with you until this point in your career?
A ton, man.
All right, drop some gems.
There's but some of them are not they're not really gems. They're just kind of
duh.
Yeah. My dad. So I have a twin brother who's in AAA with us right now.
Oh, that's cool.
So we grew up playing, and my dad was a really big impact on us. 6 a.m. You outside. We're hitting ground balls. We're hitting He used to like black eyed peas at us, hit him with a stick, and
That's hard
right
there. You have no idea. That's hard.
ground balls, throw the balls throw 2 buckets through this tire. You know what I mean? So he kind of just taught us more so like hard work. Like because I'm not me and him, my brother. He told us from a very young age, like you're not the most athletically gifted person. I guess the one thing he told me actually was he told me and my brother both this. He said no matter we were probably complaining at this time about being outside or something. And I didn't, until I made it to professional ball, I didn't really ever understand what he was saying. But he was like, no matter how hard you think you're working, there's some kid in Korea that's working twice as hard as you are. There's some kid in Dominican working twice as hard as you. Some kid in Venezuela working twice as hard as you are with half the stuff that you have. And so I was like, I always grew up, I was like, I'm playing nobody from North Korea, or South Korea, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But then you get to pro ball, like I guess to the pro ball the manners, like literally my first day there's 2 kids from Taiwan, there's a kid from Brazil, there's 100 people from Venezuela or Dominican or wherever, and you're like,
and they're just Panama, they're just mopping the floor.
Yeah, or they got like literally they had like they play the game with the little bottle cap and the stick, and like some of I played with one guy, he's like, I didn't have a glove, I didn't have an actual glove till like 14 years old, and I'm like, damn. So like but he's not wrong, and like I kind of a lot of the kids now, man, I think they watch too much MLB, to be honest with you, because they're like I'll be on YouTube or like Instagram, I'm seeing the videos of these kids like mic'd up at a 12U game with like you know what I'm saying, but I mean it's the truth, like they wearing like sleeves and they got like the newest Oakley glasses, and like they're trying to do some like something they saw like
some baby Gronk shit.
Yeah, they saw some stuff like Lindor do or something, you know what I mean? But I'm like, and that's why I love Simi so much, bro. Simi, like, he's not out there with, like, chains and all this. You know what I mean? He just out there to play ball, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, like, I remember as a kid growing up, I went out there to play ball. I didn't go out there to, put me on the gram or all, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just serious. Like, it's just how the game is now, bro. And, like, like, I remember when I was a kid, as a kid ball, you can still run the catcher over. Because I grew up as a catcher. I went to college as a catcher, started out and everything. And, we went there to play ball. Like, we went there to win. Like, now kids are kind of like, they go to I want the $800 bat and the, this glove. And say, man, play ball, dude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, that's what kids think that stuff is what got Lindor or Javi Baez or whoever is the flash, whoever, or Chisholm or whatever. They think that's what got them there. No, that's not what got them there. That what got them there was playing really good baseball. You know what I'm saying? But some other gyms, I mean, there's like one is funny is my AA pitching coach. One time he told me he was like he told I guess like the whole bullpen at the time, but he was like, you'll have a lot longer career if you pitch when they tell you to pitch and you don't pitch when they don't tell you to pitch. And I was like, that was one of the things like duh, right? Duh, when else am I gonna pitch? But as I've played longer, I understand what he's talking about, because there's guys that'll be like, they think nobody's listening. Like, this more so minor league ball, not major league ball, but where they're like, oh, well, this guy's pitching, man, I haven't pitched all week, or whatever. And it's like they think nobody notices them talking about that kind of stuff, but then it's like they have ears, you know what I mean? So he was kind of like saying to the whole team, like, just do your job when they tell you to do your job, basically. And if you do it well when you get out there, you'll have a long career. And you'll have more opportunities to keep going. And that was just kind of a thing about, like, that was more so, like, don't complain, you know what I mean? Just show up, do your job, and that's it. And a lot of guys don't get that aspect. You know what I mean? A lot of guys don't seem to get that aspect when you're coming up. And then some other stuff, like, I'm trying to think, what was Jeff? One time, bro, I had, like, I'm not having the best year of my life now, but I had the worst year of my career in my minor leagues that year. And at the end of the year,
Frisco?
Yeah, that was my first time in Frisco. I think 21. And he was like, at the end of the year, I mean, I didn't say nothing to him. Like, I just, we saying bye to all the coaches, and he just like, he just literally just looked me in the eye. I was like, man, go home and get better. Simple. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Go home and get better.
Yeah, that's what I gotta do. Lock in.
And I'm not gonna lie, Jeff, he's not with the Rangers organization anymore. He's with San Diego, I believe. But he's been in professional ball since like the 60s or 70s or something like that. And he was like not like, he never actually, I don't think he ever told me any like pitching stuff like to help me pitch better. You know what I'm saying? But he just would say stuff like that. Like, I just remember that whole offseason, bro. I was like...
Wax on, wax off.
But, he was just like, he told me go home and get better. And I just went home and I literally all I thought about what he told me, go get better. And so I didn't know what that meant or how to achieve that, but it made me work even harder to get better. And I came back the next year and had one of the best years of my life. So it was just like a something that stuck with me. I don't know if it actually is like a gym or makes any sense to anybody, but it just helped me. You know what I mean?
I think that is kind of like a gym, just get better. Because a lot of the gyms are just so simple. Like, just go get better. Just keep working. Like they say, like even Smooth's like, hey, just keep going. Don't just be consistent. Yeah. Don't stop. Like that. Those simple things are actual like big pillars and just like, all right, you're right. Just keep going, keep going. And it's funny too, because like you said, a lot of these kids, they have the glove on their hand when they're sliding. They got the long towel. They got the face paint, everything. It's like you said, it's almost like as if it's like a swag contest out there on the field with these younger kids. Because growing up, I don't think there was, I don't remember anything like that. Like there was nothing like that.
The only thing I remember having was everybody wanted when I was a kid was the fighting necklace. The fighting necklace, the little braided, you know what I'm saying? Like that was it. And then like they might have, if it's sunny outside, they may wear sunglasses, but like.
Not pit vipers to the field.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's wearing like, like two neon sleeves and like, all that. It's just kind of like, we're not out here to play ball at this point. It's like a fashion contest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. That's all with technology, I think.
Yeah, no, that's 100%, bro. It's everything. Like
it's crazy because we're not that much older than these kids that are coming up and playing. I mean, most of them are young enough to be our siblings in a sense, and it's like, damn, where did the disconnect go? Even outside of baseball, bro, these kids are different nowadays.
My family's educators, so I know my mom was a teacher for 30, almost 40 years. My dad was a principal for 40 years. My older brother's a high school coach right now. My best friend was he actually just got out of high school coaching.
He's all teaching.
Yeah, I mean, my twin, if he was to stop, he'd probably be coaching high school ball right now too. So I definitely know how these kids are today, bro. It's I don't know, man. I think that's just having technology at such a young age, so much younger than we got. Like I remember I didn't have a phone until like high school, ninth grade or 8th grade. You know what I mean?
Real quick, you're 27, right?
27.
Yeah, we're 28.
Right.
Yeah, so we're right there with you, bro.
Yeah. So it was like, I couldn't get on a phone until high school, pretty much.
Yeah.
But now you see kids like 7 years old got an iPhone 15 or whatever the newest iPhone is. You're
bro,
like,
my first phone was a Net 10 phone that I got for like a month with the minutes that came in the bundle.
The minutes that came in.
Mine was like the little, not the sidekick, but it was one of them types like you can slide up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was the first. But before that, like my parents had
the Kyocera strobe.
Yeah, my parents had like the little Motorola, like the Razor for
bro. That was the iPhone back then.
Yeah. I thought the iPhone back then was the Blueberry.
Fuck no. Nah, that was if you're
That was like a business kind of like a little.
Yeah, bro, that was like a upgraded PDA.
Yeah.
If you had a Razor, bro, you had motion.
Yeah, but I think that's just what that comes from, man. Like just having that online ability at such a young age.
I know, man. I got my daughter asking me, can you fix the iPad? Because she broke an iPad that I had, and I'm just like, I'm not fixing this. Yeah. I was like, I don't even need it. Why do you want it?
Yeah.
And I'm so happy her little Android tablet started to mess up because I'm like, we're not getting you a new one because all you're doing is just on it. And I was like, give me this shit.
Hey, so is your twin, is it an identical twin or fraternal?
So we look alike. Like everybody tells us we look just alike, but we are not identical. Okay. We're fraternal, but we look very similar.
Okay, so
I can show you a picture
of him. Oh yeah, you're a little older.
He's older than me.
Oh, okay, God.
By a couple of minutes?
It was C-section, but it was 45 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Between.
Let me see if I get a picture.
And what's his name?
Aiden.
Aiden.
Yeah.
G-A and A. So here's a good question I want to ask because I don't know.
Oh, hey, one more, Jim. Sorry, I forgot. I was just thinking about this. Was Mike Madden, my pitching coach now. This is another one. Like, it's not a gym. It's just like it's kind of something like everybody should do, but he always like he literally says like you just trust your stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yep. And he says it's the hardest thing to do in the world, and it actually is as a pitcher. Like it's there's times where you might be facing like some really good guys and you're like, oh, I don't know if my pitches are good enough to get this guy out. But like it is good enough. You just have to trust it to do what it's gonna do. You know, if I throw it here and I want it to move this way, I have to trust that when I throw it, it's gonna do that and it'll work out. And a lot of guys struggle with that at times. So that's my last one probably.
Actually, I think that's really good too, because that goes back into like a little bit of like in the gym stuff. Because in the gym they say if you're trying to grow this muscle, you need to really put your mind to that muscle,
right?
So that you can focus on growing it. So like you said, mentally, if I'm like, okay, I need this pitch to go in, I'm gonna keep thinking this pitch is gonna go in when I throw it. So when I throw it, it's just gonna do the motion of it's gonna go in or whatever the case is. But when you won the World Series, when did you cry? I feel like I would cry if I won the World Series.
I don't know if I did, man. I not like boo-hoo cry, but like
a couple tears.
Yeah, maybe probably on the field.
Yeah,
like when my family, my wife, and so my wife was there, my boy was there, and my mom came. My dad, he was banking on us losing one actually in AZ to come back to Texas because he doesn't like flying. He hates flying. And, like, he could have drove, but he did, like, it's been a long drive. He's always older now, so it's been a long drive by himself. So he ended up not going, but he wished he would have got there. But I probably didn't really cry like that. Maybe just, like, for a few seconds on the field with my wife, like a couple tears, but not like I cried way more on my debut than I cried.
Yeah.
I mean, way more on my debut than I cried for the World Series. But because the World Series was, like, I don't know. It was just like a very joyous, like happy moment. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I didn't feel a need to cry. I was like super excited, like super happy.
It's hard to.
It's hard to cry when you're throwing champagne on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
The debut one I could feel though for sure because it's like all my hard work finally paid off, and then you to have this great debut. It's like finally I made it. Like I feel like as soon as I seen my mom, I would have cried.
Yeah,
especially even after the World Series, I would have been like, "We just did this." Like,
my mom wasn't even she wasn't crying. She was just happy to be on the field and you know what I'm saying, like see all of it. My brother right here. So that's me, my twin.
Oh, okay. Oh, y'all go hunting.
Oh yeah.
I know you're a country.
Yeah, we hunt everything, man.
What you got, Rob?
Oh yeah. So here's a bit of a question from a casual fan. What happened with the parade? I don't know. We won our first World Series, and do you think it was just a matter of like they were trying to rush the parade out, where it didn't feel as I mean, if you were there in front of the field, then yeah. But when you watched it on TV or when I talked to people who were there, they were just like, I was expecting more.
I honestly have no idea how I get set up. I just show up when they tell me to show up and get in the truck, and I got in the truck. But that was a big deal. I know. But yeah, I don't know who set it up, or I don't even know how it got set up or what. But if I had to imagine, it would probably just be like a
spur of the moment,
sped up, like rush kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? So, because you gotta remember Arlington and Dallas is a big city. Mm-hmm. So if I had to imagine to get that coordinated in less than 3 days was probably. I mean, imagine if that was your job and you're like, shit, I gotta get this whole city blocked off, enough cops to be there. Like that's my only guess. I have no actual idea what happened.
I think in a sense that in hindsight it's like, okay, cool. I mean, it wasn't as extravagant, but you go to other cities and you got people tearing up the streets. So I guess we saved our city a little bit.
Yeah. Very well could have been.
What you got, David?
I got this. I heard this story. I mean, you want to hear your input on it. They said that Mike Maddox's brother, he was pitching in a regular season game right before the playoffs, and he told the catcher, "Hey, don't throw nothing inside. He likes the inside." And then right before the at bat, he calls him back. He goes, "Actually, just throw it inside." So he throws it inside. Guy hits it for a home run.
Yeah, Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah, and then he said 3 months later or 2 months later when they were in the playoffs, he said he's going to be looking for that pitch, throw everything outside. And then he struck him out with the outside pitch. I was like, that mental capacity to say, I'm setting him up right now for the future is like on a whole nother level when it comes to mental in the game of baseball. Like how do you interpret that?
One, just for all the pitchers out there listening to this, if you're not as good as Greg Maddux, don't do that. Dead seriously. I mean, like it can work, obviously, but like you gotta understand, like he's a top probably 5 pitcher of all time. So it's like he has the stuff wise and the ability to execute that plan. Yeah. Which I mean, obviously, to me, what like pitching is execution. Mm-hmm. So if I can execute whatever plan I have, and I can trust my stuff, I'm gonna be fine. So obviously he is great. So I mean, like he knew what he was doing, and also the hitter. He like it's good to know the hitter as well. Like, is this a guy that like does he typically stick with the same plan throughout the season, or does like will he change it in 2 months from now? Will he be like a guy like this month he's been trying to hit stuff inside? Well, maybe 2 months from now he might be trying to get his arms extended to hit the ball backside, or like pull balls in the air this way. But he obviously knew who he was facing, and he knew he knew it would work. Like basically, you know what I'm saying? Like he knew that he could get him to bite on this pitch now, which that is true though. And his Mike said this to me just like maybe like 2 weeks ago. He was like, "Guys, remember what they hit off of you, not what you got them out with."
Every time, yep.
So, you know, if this guy booked me this time, but I punched him out the other 5 times I faced him, the only one he's going to remember is what pitch he hit really good off of.
Yeah,
He's not going to remember what he didn't hit good off of.
He's going to be sitting on that pitch that he hit good on you.
Right. That's what Greg was doing. But it is true. But like I said, if you're not good enough to execute that, then don't try to do that. You know what I mean? Like, mainly I'm saying this more so for the kids on with the wristbands and you know what I'm saying, like they're gonna try to set some kid up and pitch ball or travel ball. Like don't do that. But it is true. That is very true. Like, you know, if I'm pitching to a guy, he hits a home run off me on a sinker in, he's just gonna be looking for that sinker in the next time because he knows that his swing is gonna line up good with it. But now if I just throw him sinkers away, he's probably either gonna swing and ground out on it or he's gonna take that whip. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, if I just stay slow with them, because there's guys, and I didn't know this. I mean, I didn't like really know it until I got started going up higher levels in baseball. Because like lower, like basically like below AA, and even now AA kind of fits in this, but like those guys and those levels, it's hard to do that with hitters because they're so unpredictable at those levels. You know what I'm saying? Like even amateur ball, like. You know, a guy might swing at a curveball this time, but he doesn't know why he swung at it.
Okay, I see.
You know, that's what helps Greg in this instance. He knows that the guy he's facing, he knows why he's going to swing at that pitch. Yeah. Whereas, like, if you're in low A or rookie ball, they're just swinging because they see the ball, basically. You know what I'm saying? They're like, I see the ball, swing at it. You know what I mean? But, like, if you were to ask that kid if he just struck out, hey, why'd you swing at that, cutter in? I don't know. Just look good. But you know what I'm saying? They don't know, like, they don't have a plan, basically. And so what guys will do, especially like, AAA Major League, will be like, let's say you're coming in and they know your best pitch is a slider. They're only going to sit on a slider in one spot. So let's say you're right-handed or left-handed?
I'm left-handed.
So let's say you're a lefty facing a righty. They're going to say, I'm going to look for a slider like a little more up and closer to me. Right, so like more like kind of like middle-ish slider, and I'm gonna swing at that. And if you don't throw that pitch that hole at bat, they will literally strike out looking because you didn't throw that pitch.
Which actually, see, that's what people don't get is like the mental side of the game is you'll see a guy take 2-3 pitches and then he'll strike out, but it's because he was looking for a specific pitch in a specific area.
Like Josh Young actually, I think it was against Garrett Cole the other day. I didn't ask him what he was looking for or whatever, but he struck out on 3 pitches. They were all fastballs. And I'm sure the fans are, oh, what are you looking at? Yeah. But I'm sure whatever he was looking for, it just wasn't that pitch.
Yeah, they didn't throw it. It wasn't in his zone.
And that is something that can be difficult at times as a pitcher, is like figuring out what pitch this guy exactly wants to swing at. So because they're like I come in a lot of times with runners on base because I get a lot of ground balls and stuff. So it's kind of different like when you're coming in with people on base. Because then they're in swing mode in general. Yeah. Because they're just trying to drive. They're just trying to drive the runner, or move the runner over or drive him in. So they're gonna swing. Yeah. So it's a little different, but like I faced Stanton last night, and I struck him out on 3 sinkers away. So obviously he was not looking for a sinker away. You know what I'm saying? He's probably looking. If I had to imagine, he's probably waiting for me to miss arm side with a slider.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more in his bat path, a little closer to him. He could obviously he hits the ball like 100 miles an hour every time he hits it. But that's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, early in the at bat, I figured out he didn't want to swing at that pitch because I threw him 2 in a row and he literally watched both of them like this. Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, well I know he's not looking for a sinker away. I'm just gonna stick with a sinker away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But then it gets to like last night, I faced Volpe. He got a single. Eventually got a single off of I think we had like a 10 pitch at bat on a ground ball single on a sinker in, but he had taken that pitch and swung at that pitch, so he also took a sinker away. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I don't know what he doesn't want to swing at, because he's swinging at everything I throw right now. So it's like, so it's just one of those things like identifying can be kind of hard depending on the hitter, and that's why that with Jeff Bagwell and Greg Maddux was so important because Greg knows. He already knows what pitch he is looking for and where he wants it at.
He knew.
So he can set him up with that in advance because I know if I throw this, I don't know if it was a sinker or a changeup he threw inside. It was a sinker because he threw changeups next time. But he threw a sinker inside, home run. He's like, I know he's looking for that pitch. Well, now later, because I know he's still going to be looking for that pitch, I'm just not going to throw it.
Not throw it at all.
And so it makes it easier the second time you face a guy, which I think is true. Anytime a guy gets a homer off of you, I think the next time you face him, it's easier because now you know what he's going to be looking for.
Yeah, to adjust a little.
To adjust to it, yeah. Which is baseball as pitching in general is you got to be able to make adjustments.
Yeah, I remember that was one of my hardest parts too, was just making the adjustments, hitting your spots. I remember that's like the main thing that my coach would always tell me. He's like, hit your damn spots.
I think that's still the most important part of the game.
Hit your spots, yeah.
I mean,
like you said, execution.
The game now has gotten so like numbers, like my pitch movements and shapes and all that. And another thing Mike said in spring training. So like one of our pitchers, his curveball is like his Nate Eovaldi. His curveball is like metrically like there's pitch grades for every pitch, and like his curveball is his lowest graded pitch,
which is crazy.
But it is like maybe his most effective pitch, but it's based off of where he throws it at. And like what counts he throws it in. So it basically comes down to his execution of the pitch. So like you can have a pitch that grades out terrible, but if you execute that pitch, it can still be a great pitch for what you're trying to do. Like if you're trying to get people out, obviously is the goal. And like let's say my changeup is terribly graded, but every time I throw it down and away to a left-handed batter or you're a lefty, so every time I throw it down and away to a righty, I get a ground out. Yeah, that's a great pitch, even though the grade says it's not good. It's still a good pitch.
It's all depending on when you
just depends on when and where you throw the ball at and how you execute it. So I think that's the most, as a pitcher, is still by far the most important. No matter if you throw, like you said earlier, there's guys that throw 100 and there's guys that throw 90 in the major leagues. Yep. They're all there because they can execute their pitches. It has to do with, like, I think velo is kind of something that's been kind of blown out of proportion a little bit.
Yeah, velocity.
Because, I mean, yes, like the average velo has grown in the Major League Baseball, but like there's still plenty of guys that throw 89 to 92 miles an hour. You know what I mean? And they're still effective, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's maybe Dane Dunning, isn't it? Because I don't think he goes. I think he throws low.
No, he's like 88 to 92, 93, yeah.
And even Cody Bradford, same thing.
Cody's a great, best example, yeah.
But he just places the balls right and everything like that. It's that same thing. Same example, same concept.
His execution is off the charts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean,
back to Slow Rocket.
Cody.
Yeah, back to Slow Rocket a little bit on that one.
But, I mean, no, yeah. I mean, Cody is, I mean, Cody's going to be great. I mean that's it. He's one of my closest friends. And that was probably, actually, back to the World Series thing, that's probably made the coolest part about winning the World Series was just being there with, it was me, Bradford, and Latz were there.
Yeah, Latz.
And just being there with guys that you came up. I have a picture of all three of us holding the trophy in my house.
That's fire.
That was maybe one thing that was like really special. And not cry worthy, but like to play with, like, you know, people underestimate how tough it is to get from rookie ball to the major leagues.
Super hard.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's less than 1% of baseball players in professional baseball make it from rookie ball to the majors. And so to be there with like two other guys that I played, like, was in the bullpen with and taking them bus rides with to get there, man, that was that was probably a great moment, like one of the best moments.
See that well, you can put that in my, because I was gonna ask, what are your top 3 moments of the World Series run? So where would you put that moment inside your top 3?
I think holding like, I mean, every time I see the pictures, going back to the memory, like holding it with them guys. That's probably up there, man. That's probably top 3 for sure. You know what I mean? I don't know, my moments of the World Series run or the World Series in
the
general?
whole World Series run. All four.
Dude, I can't really put this one into one moment, but watching Adolis against the Astros was crazy, dude.
Crazy. That whole series.
I mean,
Game 7, all the way to Game 7, crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that was dumb, bro.
Amazing.
There's so many, dude. Being on the roster for the first round was pretty cool. The wild card round.
Against Tampa.
Yeah. And then probably when Corey hit the game time one, bro. And then Adolis hit the walk off. Was that? I think it was
in the 11th inning.
Did I have that right?
Yeah.
Corey hit the tying in the 9th.
Yeah.
And then Adolis hit the walk off.
In the 11th, yeah.
Dude, that thinking about that moment now, I still get chills about that because that was like crazy, dude. I mean, that's like.
You dream of that as a kid.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's like you watch, like when you're seeing it in person, like in the dugout, it's like you're watching it like in like a movie lens, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't feel like you're there. Like it's possible you're actually there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird to say it like that, but like it was literally like almost like you're dreaming. Like when you wake up, you're like, oh shit, that was a dream.
Yeah, there's no way.
But it was reality, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy, dude. Like, you know, this is like the moments like when you're a kid and you're in your living room watching TV with your family, whole family's watching it, and it happens and everybody's freaking out. That was probably my number one. That's probably my number one. That's like more so than watching sports.
Throw the glove
down. I mean, more or the curveball to win it.
Yeah.
And then throw the glove down. That was that moment with them two tying it, and because at the time they were our 2 best hitters at the time.
Yeah, at that time,
the
whole series, the playoffs,
and just to watch them like come through in that big of a moment was pretty sick.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best part that makes it so crazy, because I don't know if you watched the broadcast after and like from whenever they had it on TV. He's like,
I actually haven't. I've never seen the.
Oh yeah, we gotta watch that real quick.
I've never seen the broadcast.
But he says he's like he could tie with one swing, and as soon as he says he could tie with one swing, Corey hits the ball.
And as soon
as he hits it, Corey already knows it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you even... You can't even write this in a better scenario.
That was the thing, too, because Corey never shows any emotion. Mm-hmm. So to see him, like, flip out
as soon as he hits it.
That was sick, man. But I have seen that. I've seen, like, the shorts on it, like, on the YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've seen that specific moment where he's, like, in one swing and he literally whacks it.
Yeah. Pitch, I'm just like, man... Insane, because I remember I was there that day, and I was like, man, I don't know if we're gonna be able to come back, but it's like, yo, it's the bottom of the 9th. It's just like everybody went ballistic, because it's just like, this is the playoffs, it's the World Series, Game 1, and it's a pivotal game because it's the first game of the whole World Series.
Bro, but that's what like postseason baseball, you live. If you're a fan of baseball, you play the game of baseball. That's what you live for, bro.
Yeah,
like
literally.
It's because anything can happen in postseason ball.
Anything can
happen. It's a different animal. It's like, you know, the tension's so much higher. Pressure, if you believe in pressure. There's this theory out there that, like, in the mental health, like, of baseball, that, like, pressure's not real versus is pressure real.
Yeah. I believe
that up to
Fernando Venezuela who said that. My dad told me this quote. He said, "Pressure. There's only pressure if you want to give yourself pressure." Right. I think, I can't say it verbatim, but it's literally like that. Fernando Venezuela said that.
But that's what I said. I'll leave that up to the individual.
Yeah, it's up to you if you want to put that pressure on yourself or not. And I used to try to pitch with no pressure because it's like, hey, what are you gonna do? You could just come out here, do your thing, and everything like that.
Yeah.
You got one, Raj?
No, yeah. So after baseball, man, what do you have planned after baseball? I mean, because we're 27 now, and everyone tells us, oh, you got to think about your future, retirement, all this other stuff. I mean, do you plan to play the game as long as you can and
I'm gonna play until they stop paying me to put a jersey on, bro. I mean, honestly, that's like I said, you're only young enough to play this game at a high level for so long. So if I'm blessed enough to keep playing at 38 or whatever, I'm gonna keep playing.
Like, isn't that David Roberts and
he's 39 and Kirby's 37 or 36?
Yeah, close to that same thing.
Yeah,
We've been in the league for a while.
Scherzer's 40.
And then Verlander, I think he's like 40.
He's 40. So, like I said, if I'm blessed enough to make it that far, for sure, I'm gonna keep playing. But after that, man, like, I got me and my brothers are starting this, and my sister as well, starting this hunting brand, like hats and stuff. So I'm gonna try to get that going. Me and my twin we're gonna try to do a podcast type deal. They kind of talk about hunting and baseball, kind of, So I'm gonna see where those go, and then honestly, I mean, I'm hoping, obviously, making good enough money to retire on that, and then I'm so busy though. I keep myself busy. Like I'm always working on stuff around the house. So I don't know, man. I would like to do have a travel ball team one day, like a kind of an academy type deal where train people at stuff. That would probably be number one on the list, probably.
Yeah,
honestly.
That's cool. That's giving back to the community.
Yeah.
Right there.
So and I hope I'm trying to get that started somewhere down in Southeast Texas, whether it be Beaumont or Orange or Port Arthur, somewhere in the Golden Triangle. I'm gonna try to get that started. Hopefully here in the next 2 years, maybe hopefully 2 years.
Oh, what time?
So,
Before 30?
Before 30, yeah.
So what you call it? So where do you think the best baseball players come from in the world? Like if you had to just kind of put a pin in it.
Country? You talking like country?
Yeah, country, region.
Of the country.
Country, region.
Texas.
Damn, I mean, obviously I'm biased.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Texas for sure.
I mean, because everybody talks about the Dominicans have really best baseball players.
Right.
They
So
are good.
that's kind of really tough to say, because if you're gonna say okay, let's go out the World Baseball Classic, well, Japan has won 4 of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
yeah.
why would we not say Japan? But then you look in the major leagues, there's only 8-7%, not even 2% of the league is Japanese. So then you'd be like, well, can't say Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, man, Japan, as far as the aspects of a baseball player you're looking for, as far as playing the games fundamentally sound, Japan probably makes that. They raise the best fundamentally sound baseball players.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Just their
without a doubt. I mean, the discipline is unreal. And then you see if you go play ball in the Caribbean, it's the complete opposite. You know what I'm saying? That nobody cares if you're bunting. They're trying to take the biggest swing, throw the hardest. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's hard because people try to I remember a few years ago it was a big deal with the bat flipping and
showing off a little bit.
which to me that I'm gonna say this because we were talking about the kids earlier.
Yeah.
For adults playing the game, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
For kids,
Pimping the ball.
Let's make sure you're gonna be playing when you're 20 before you're bat flipping at 13. You know what I'm saying? Because you might not be playing 2 years from now. Let's
Let's
you
be
know what I'm
real.
saying? But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I think if we we're a little more strict fundamentally growing up, and then once you to me, I'm a big believer that swag that they all play. You gotta earn the swag, man. You know what I'm saying? Earn the swag first.
Yep.
Be disciplined. Play the game. There's no right way. That right way crap. I hate hearing play the game the right way. I don't like that. But feel the ground ball regular before you start trying to do the backflip or the backhand. Blah 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 blah. Learn your fundamentals first.
Yep.
Earn the swag, then you bat flip. So, but I didn't have a problem with that. But in the Caribbean, they love it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different aspect. There is no one way to play it. I would say, I guess the DR probably has the highest amount of major leaguers per square mile, probably because they're on a smaller island, and half the league is from the Dominican. It feels like so. It's maybe them, but then again, Cubans. Cuba has great baseball players.
Yep.
Puerto Rico has great baseball players, and then obviously the U.S.
Venezuela as well.
I would have to say more so if you're gonna pick the U.S., where would be who has the best baseball player opposed to the world, because it's so hard in the world.
Yeah.
Because you think about the best closer of all time is from Panama. Ohtani might be the best player ever. He's from Japan. You know what I'm saying? Mike Trout is one of the best players ever. He's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
So it's just so hard, Then you had Beltre the other day, one of the best third baseman all time was from the DR. So it's It's really tough, man, to
All
say
right, so
who
United
is
States, are you still going Texas?
for sure.
Okay,
Come on,
I
man.
would say Texas too. Texas is a breeding hub for a lot of sports.
I would say
breeding hub is
football and
crazy.
baseball is pretty big in Texas. Now, I have this argument with like Dunning and Langford and DeGrom, the Florida boys think Florida, but I will. It's very comparable though.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm
They got
saying?
a lot of space out there.
Both of them, two of the biggest states in the country. Both huge football, baseball places.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna always ride with Texas for sure because
Yeah.
I'm from Texas. So I'm gonna say Texas. But even like the guys in California everybody has like their own argument. But I'm gonna say Texas because I've seen some high school ball in a lot of other states.
It's not as competitive as,
No, not even close.
Texas is.
No.
Texas is on another level.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Highland Park over here. We got Highland Park. All right, so give me your top 3 batters to face currently.
As in like tough to
that
face?
yeah, tough to face, or that you even want to face. Like you want this, like I want to pitch against him.
I think I've already accomplished. I think I'm pitching against everybody I want to pitch against actually so far. One, Ohtani has my number. He's 2 for 2 with 2 homers, so he's the
2
number.
homers.
Yeah.
Ohtani.
Coming up, I always want. I don't know if I'm gonna put my top 3, but Stanton was one of my favorite players for a long time, and I faced him now a couple times. So, Altuve's on there.
Altuve.
Because growing up, I was an Altuve fan, and being able to face somebody that like I grew up watching, which is kind of weird because like he is like what do you think he's like 35 or 36.
Yeah,
So he's like 10 years older than me, but like I did actually like grow up. Like I remember his debut.
Yeah.
He was wearing the
old
school with the pinstripe, so and he had his pants down.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, dang, who's this little guy?
And he's only like 5'5".
Yeah, he's like 5'6" or something like that.
Sure.
So seeing him and then being able to face him was pretty cool. Judge was another one.
That's a hard one too.
I'm a fan of the way he plays the game, man. He's he's a great. Probably gonna end up being one of the best hitters. You know what I mean? Especially at this generation.
For sure.
Oh, I'm tripping. Mike Trout.
I
faced Mike Trout. So if I had to pick the 3, I'd probably say Trout, Altuve. Third one's kind of tough though. Probably Judge.
Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a tough guy too.
If I wasn't on the Rangers, the one I would want to face Simi. I faced Simi like in I faced him in like live BPs and stuff. BP. So but like he's my favorite player. So to play him on another team would have been cool. But obviously I'd much rather be on his team.
Yeah. That's funny. Hey, so do you think is it a lot harder pitching to Altuve because he's shorter than it is to pitching to Judge because he's taller?
No, for me it's definitely the shorter guy. I'd rather face. It's kind of weird because like the strike zones are a big difference. But for me, I think because the angle I throw from, it's just easier to fit it in that box.
Smaller
and I can keep if I just throw the ball down because they're shorter. I can throw it even farther down and they're still gonna swing at it.
Yeah.
Opposed to like when you're facing like Stanton and Judge, the guys that are and Ohtani, even the super tall guys, it can be hard to figure out where the top of that zone is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know where the bottom is, but like let's say I'm throwing a fastball up, am I throwing it up enough?
Basically. Yeah, otherwise you might throw it.
Because otherwise, if it ain't up enough, it's middle. Yeah. So like that
you don't want it
right, and you don't want it there. So that to me, that's the hard. That's like with the really tall dudes. That's the hardest part is like figuring out where the top is. Because like obviously like it's easy to kind of like the knee just the knees is the bottom. So if I can just keep it kind of below that, I should be okay. But when I'm going up, it's like, okay, do I need to release? Because like up for a normal person is gonna be more like middle up to them. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So like I can't just think up like I would to a normal height guy. Yeah. If I'm thinking that, then I'm gonna be middle of plate. But if I'm like, okay, low, let me throw it at his neck, well then it's way too high. So then you're like, okay, where's the point where he'll swing at it and it not be a strike?
It's a lot harder.
So it's a little harder to figure out.
Yeah, that makes sense. You got one more, Roger?
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
So this is my last question. All right. Up into your life right now, and even sitting in this seat right here with us, what has been the most valuable moment for you?
Valuable? There's a couple, man. There's like are you talking about this for
your life?
For life or for baseball?
Your life.
Oh, life? Most valuable moment? That's a tough one, man. That's a good question. I don't know, man. That's a tough, like, there's so many different things that you could could say, like, becoming a father for the first time is like, I don't know, you said you have a kid, so like the first time you see your child born, you're like, damn, this is real. Like,
I think that's what, for me personally. I think that's one of the first few times I cried.
Yeah, same. When I saw my boy, I was like, damn, man, this is like this is a part of my my body is in another form. You know what I'm saying? Like everything I put into myself is now come out in this child. So it was like valuable though. Like, I don't know, man. I learned a lot of lessons in defeat, man. Like getting your tail handed to you. I don't know, man. I would just have to say it's more like a culmination of things, man. Like, you know, having terrible outings, like having bad days, and just figuring out, you know, how to get past that. Kind of teaches you the most valuable lessons you'll ever learn, I think. You know, I think a lot of people, sometimes they tend to focus more on the good stuff, not so much on the bad stuff, but I feel like the bad stuff is what makes you better in life in general. You
can grow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think before I got called up, man, me and my wife were pregnant, and I think it had like $1,000 to our name. And I get emotional, but like we were, you know, I was like I got sent down from AAA. I was in AA again. And I'm like, damn, man, I think I'm gonna retire. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm gonna hang it up. Like, I can't support 3 miles on a minor league salary, which, if y'all know, minor league salary is not that much, very much. And I'm like, damn, man, I don't know how to pay our insurance this month. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like, it was tough, man. But figuring out, like, you know, saying my wife, thank God for her, thank God for my parents. They told me, like, hey, stick with it, like, you know, give it another minute. Because I was kind of told the Rangers, I was like, look, man, like, I can't keep doing this, like, so either I retire or I get released or whatever and get a chance somewhere else. But, like, you know, this might be it for me. So then I told my wife told me, like, okay, she was like, okay, we'll give it 1 month. You know, give it a month if you get back to AAA, and then give it another month when you get to AAA. So I was like, okay. So I got back to AAA in like 2 weeks, and then I got called up like 3 weeks later. So it was like,
yeah, it's perfect.
So I think that was like a very valuable moment in my life. And I kind of had a similar moment in college. Like, I went from being a catcher to they asked me to just be a pitcher, and I'm like, oh man, I'm transferring. My dad kind of told me, like, hey, you know, you got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, like, you know, is this have I been doing good enough to keep doing what I'm doing, or should I try something new, and should I tell, like, you know, be honest with myself, basically. But I think going through the really tough times, you know, and I gotta thank God too, for sure, man. Like, keeping your faith in what you believe in, whether you believe in God or whoever you believe in, but you know, keeping my faith in God and staying strong, and having obviously great family to support me and push me to keep going. Taught me a lot, man. Like, you know, something I can teach my son one day. So that's probably the most valuable moment of my life. Just not really moment, but like that little time span of a month, I guess, of like being so far down that like I'm gonna quit, to just saying, you know, all I can do is stay faithful, stick with it, and do the best I can. That's my thing too. Like, I didn't give up in that time span. Like, she told me give me a month, so I gave it a month. I didn't say, okay, I'm gonna just show up for a month. You know what I'm saying?
You just kept giving your
I had to say, okay, if I'm gonna do this for this month, I'm gonna do the best I can for this month. And then when I got back and I had another month, I said, all right, I'm gonna do the best I can for this month. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I wasn't completely defeated, but it was basically like going from being defeated to figuring out how to win. And that's what kind of, that lesson right there kind of taught me a lot.
Yeah, I love that.
There's this one quote that reminds me of that one quote of hard times create strong men create good times.
Yeah.
And then it goes a little further where it says good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Yeah.
So as long as you keep going through those trials and tribulations that you got to go through, you know, you're just going to keep growing.
Yeah. And
like J. Cole says, beauty in the struggle.
Oh, I love J. Cole.
Yeah, beauty in the struggle.
The prophet, dude. That's what I call him. but yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I'm having a rough year this year, man. I've had kind of some bad luck too, also mixing it, which is never good. But like learning that lesson has helped me where I'm at now.
Push through.
To say, you know what, you can't just give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta find a way to keep grinding through it. Show up every day, do your best, put your best work in, best foot forward, and just know that you will be successful in the end. That's what one thing too. Like a lot of young players out there that like maybe they think they're not talented enough or not as gifted because I never was, honestly. I was never faster, stronger, hit the ball first, do the ball hard, none of that. But like I said, my dad taught us, you show up every day, work your butt off. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And however hard you think you're working, work 2 times harder than that. Yeah. And if you do the right things, I'm a believer in this. Like if you show up every day, you do the right things, you work hard, it will pay off for you in the end somewhere. It might not be in baseball, but like you'd be so like amazed at how many times like guys they go through college, maybe didn't play 10 games in college, but they graduate as a baseball player from this university. Mm-hmm. They're looking for a job, and the coach, knowing this kid for 4 years, watched him work, even though he didn't play, how many times that gets guys the job they always dreamed of having outside of baseball. Mm-hmm. Like it all, like literally, there's probably guys with better jobs that got the job from baseball that didn't play as much as guys who did play, and they got the better job because of just how hard they stayed with it. And they did the right thing, you know what I'm saying? So I think that I'm a big believer, like, it'll pay off for you at some point, even if it's not in the game as a player. And it could be as a coach. And like, you could have not played very well in your minor league career, but the coaches that you played under saw you work really hard. Mm-hmm. And then that gets you a job as an assistant major league pitching coach one day or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And now you take because they know your work ethic now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't have the skill that they hope you would have, but you have the work ethic, so now that gets you a job. Yeah. So like I said, I'm a believer that pays off at some point. It might not be in baseball, but like it can be in anything. But if you just keep working hard and you do the right thing, you stay faithful, trust in God, it'll pay off for you somewhere.
See, and I was gonna say, what would you tell anybody as advice? But you literally just said it all right there. So that would be my last question. To go ahead and end it off.
Stay working hard.
You got one more?
No.
Hey, again, everybody, appreciate Grant Anderson for coming on from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot for him just to reach back out to us and come on. So if you guys are interested, of course you should be interested. Subscribe, like, comment, and share, and we'll see you in the next episode of Direct Discussions. Peace.